This is the Jose Soto Show. You are listening to Jose Soto. And boy, what a day today, huh? You have all this news I wanted to cover today, but of course we have to push that aside because of this incident that we had in Washington, D.C. with the Family Research Council, a right-wing reactionary fascist organization. A hate group, I don't know about that, but definitely fascist and reactionary. Well, their headquarters was invaded by a lunatic with a gun. And what happened was he went in there, he got into an altercation with the guard that was at the lobby of the headquarters there, and he shot the guard in the arm. The guard, being Superman, was able to wrestle the gunman down along with other witnesses. He was wrestled down and taken into custody by the FBI. Now, when I first heard this, it didn't really come into me that there's something fishy until Fox News came out with this news article, and people have been slamming me on Twitter for this. Fine, I don't give a shit. Go ahead. I thought that this was all about freedom of speech, right? I mean, this is what conservatives yap every day of their fucking lives. Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is just a cover for what they want to do. It's just a cover to gay bash. I mean, that's what it is. If it was truly freedom of speech, then why are people going up in arms? Because I am basically thinking out loud here as to the possibilities, as to what could have happened, what led to this event, and what I think really happened. All I have is an opinion. It's not really a fact, is it? But it's based on some facts and some known statements and things that are commonly known. Well, maybe not to everybody, but if you do your homework, maybe you might know a little something about the Family Research Council. Maybe you might know a little something about the shooter himself. Now, before I touch bases on this particular event, what I really am fascinated with is with the media coverage, specifically the right-wing media, bloggers everywhere. You have people blaming who else but gay people, right? This event is going to be used no matter what the outcome is, no matter who's to blame, no matter if it was a legitimate event or it was staged, and I'll get into that in a bit. It doesn't matter because it's going to be used to demonize gay people or anybody. 200 million people in this country who support gay marriage are going to be demonized as terrorists, as anti-Americans because of this one event. Nobody got killed, thank goodness. Nobody died. But a security guard got shot in the arm, and all of a sudden, this is domestic terrorism. I mean, where did this come from? I mean, what? What is this? I don't really understand this mentality. I really don't understand this reaction. Well, we're talking about right-wing reactionaries here. So, but here's the thing, and I even checked out the Alex Jones website, and even Alex Jones, Infowars, they're on the side of Family Research Council on this. Even though they don't look at the suspicious activity surrounding this event, all the suspicious circumstances, they are ignoring all that, and they're just saying, yeah, taking their side. Oh yeah, because if you're conservative and you don't I knew from the get-go, I had a hunch that Alex Jones is a fake, and he is nothing else than a right-wing reactionary pretending to be independent or whatever it is, libertarian, whatever. I don't care. He's full of bullshit. He takes facts and shits on them. Okay, that's what he does. That's his MO. And I knew way before I even listened to Alex Jones is that there are circumstances surrounding events from 9/11, from Oklahoma City, to your local hate crime. And believe me, if you don't believe that people can fake their hate crimes or fake these kinds of events, you live in a cave and you need to come out. Okay? I mean, there was this gay guy, just to name an example, and we linked it up on the gayreport.net. This gay guy in Montana faked his hate crime, saying that a couple of straight guys beat him up because he asked them where the nearest gay bar was, even though he lived in the area and he should have known already. That was already, that had many red flags in it. That situation, that event was totally bogus, and I knew it was bogus. That this guy was beaten up at 1:30 in the morning at a straight bar that was almost empty, saying where's the nearest gay bar, even though in Montana all bars close at 2 o'clock. I mean, right there and then, people should have raised their flags, and I did. But when I was about to, finally he gave in and he admitted it. And then you had the lesbians in Colorado, you can look it up. Lesbians faking their hate crime vandalism on their garage, saying that the neighbors did it because they had a beef with the neighborhood association, with the homeowners association, and that really was all faked to get the homeowners association on their side. That was one. I mean, there are so many events. Gay people do it, straight people do it, people in power, people in relationships. They always fake things, and we lie, we cheat and steal. That's just nature. Part of human nature is that we deal with this kind of evil and depravity, that is to mislead people into believing into our cause through terrorism and all this shit. Now here's the thing. A smart gay person, I just want to get this fact out. I hired a private investigator to sort this out for me. He tried to do a background check on the shooter. Okay? Floyd Corkins is his name. So we did a background check and a psychological profile on this guy. And my private investigator called me up just a while ago, told me that the guy has no criminal record, but he does work or volunteer, he doesn't work. He volunteers a couple of times at the DC Gay Center. But since we don't have a lot of information on him and at the Gay Center, he says that most likely this person has not volunteered or been active as much for a long time at the center. So that also raises a flag right there for me. Maybe not for him, but for me it does. And he told me that his acting out at the Family Research Council headquarters was totally out of character for this kind of a person, because he did a psychological profile on Corkins. Turns out that this man is supposed to be very, very low profile, somebody that is shy. I mean, he really run down some bullet points with me over the phone regarding this person. And he is a professional on criminal pathology and all that. So I respect him, and I hire him for many other things too. So I did that, and he says that he cannot find anything else. He went to Facebook. He even tried to get somebody in Facebook, because he knows somebody in Facebook, to see what the activity on the Facebook account of the gunman is, and he says there's everything there has been erased except for a few things in there like the friends and all that, but everything else has been erased. And he said that the contact in Facebook related to him that all this was deleted a few days ago. So there was content on his Facebook account, and my private investigator gave me the address to the Facebook account of this gunman, and I went and saw it. There's nothing there except the fact that he has his friends, and some of his friends live. Let me just give you this. Let me give you this pointer. They live around Lynchburg, Virginia. He's from Virginia, by the way, but most of his relatives and friends are somewhere near Liberty University, Liberty Council. What does that have to do with anything? Well, first of all, the Liberty Council is heavily invested with the Family Research Council. They have a lot of political ties. A lot of their interns work between those two entities. And you have a lot of financial ties between the two of these organizations. They work for the same bosses, basically. They work for Peter Thiel. If you want to go all the way back, that's where we link it up. But to be honest, I have my own opinion on this. And I do believe, for right now, in this instant, I may change my mind, I'm not sure. I'm having a hard time believing that this supposed gay guy all of a sudden got crazy cuckoo, got a gun, and then went to Chick-fil-A to get a Chick-fil-A bag, right? Went to the heavily guarded, heavily surveyed Family Research Council headquarters in the middle of Washington, D.C., of all places. And he was going to, shoot people there? Right? I mean, I'm just having a hard time to really believe this. Like, this is what the theory is. This is the conspiracy theory. The conspiracy theory is, this is what the conservatives are saying, that this man, this gay guy, is so angry with the Family Research Council and with Chick-fil-A because they support traditional values, whatever that means, and also because they're conservatives and all that, and this guy got all mad, he's full of hatred, and he went there and tried to shoot people. That's the conspiracy theory. Well, the FBI hasn't said anything. I have done my own homework on this particular incident. I have done some few, let's say, catch-up homework assignments that I've done for myself. And believe me, I'm not really that convinced. The more I dig in to the Family Research Council, and Tony Perkins in particular, the less and less inclined I am to embrace the idea that a gay guy out of nowhere, I mean, this is out of nowhere, who has no postings, no blogs, no nothing. And believe me, we try to look for it. The private investigator said there's nothing on the internet that he wrote. There's nothing on Facebook, nothing on Twitter, nothing. And he tried to get somebody that knows the shooter to talk to him, but couldn't get that much through with that person. So I couldn't get anywhere. But I do have some information about the guy. He has no criminal record. That's all we know, unless some of those records are sealed. And we don't know when, if there are any records that are sealed. That's the hard part about this. But that's fine. If the FBI wants to do their own investigation, they can. Obviously, they're going to do it, and they're going to come out with the motive. I don't know what the motive is going to be. I bet you that the FBI is going to say, well, this guy is psychotic. He just blew up in the head, and he tried to shoot these people because he has anger over the whole Chick-fil-A gay marriage thing. That's the script that they're going to follow. I bet you that is the script that they're going to follow. Now, is it true? That's a whole other different thing. That's where I draw the line. And I get angry tweets and emails and you know what? People, I don't care about your political ideologies. I care about is the truth. And I hate it when people try to pull my leg and try to twist things around and think that I will believe it. You see, I question everything that I read. Unless if it's, that not that important, then I just throw it to the side. Not just report it if it's funny or if it's interesting. Like we have interesting. I was gonna talk about these news reports today. These funny news reports that I read yesterday. These weird news about certain gay people around the world. I was gonna talk about that today, but no. Today we're gonna talk about Family Research Council and the shooting, and I'm gonna tell you why I think this has to be an inside job for me, for right now. And if the supposed gay guy, was working or a volunteer at the DC Gay Center and not have a life, because what my profiler, private investigator, told me is that this guy has no life. He's a no life. How can you be in the gay community and not have a life? I mean, I find that hard to swallow. But there are so many interesting points I want to make about this, and we're going to do that after a short break. And remember, just keep all options open. Okay, that's all I'm asking. I'm not saying believe in my theory. No. I'm going to tell you why I think that it is possible, remember, possible, that the Family Research Council faked and staged this shooting. Okay, that's my opinion. We'll be right back. Don't go away. This is Jose Soto. Alright, now let's get down to business here. I really want to get serious for a bit, because when I went on Twitter and I talked about this, there are a few people that didn't like it, and obviously they had an ideological reason why. It's just like the time when I said that the lesbians in Colorado, this lesbian couple, were faking this hate crime, and everybody on the left was attacking me. You know, saying, "Oh, why did you believe him?" I'm like, well, first of all, there's a lot of red flags, and in this story, there's a lot of red flags that I want to point out. But because it's very complicated, it's not as cut and dry as the story over in Montana or the story over in Colorado, because you have a very secretive organization like the Family Research Council that has a lot of close ties to Homeland Security, to the Trilateral Commission and CFR, the Council of Foreign Relations, and the Heritage Foundation, and many of these Bilderberg people. I mean, if you really get down and dirty with the Family Research Council and find out who they are, you're going to find a lot of weird shit about them and the people that work for that organization. Now, I just want to say one thing, though, is that like any other organization, like the Human Rights Campaign, like GLAAD, all of these organizations, whether they are pro-gay or anti-gay or they serve only gay people, they still have an essence of being controlled by the power elite. That's what I've noticed. That's my experience as a gay activist. You're going to have, no matter what organization you work for, it's going to be controlled somehow by the power elite. That's what they like to do. They like to control these organizations, especially if they get too powerful, like the Family Research Council. And they want the debate to be about gay issues. That's what's going to happen this election year. And if Family Research Council was dragged into this fake false flag attack, then I have to conclude that those who staged the attack want the discussion now, moving forward, to be about Chick-fil-A, free speech, and gay rights. That's the culmination. And of course, people love to talk about gay rights now. Oh, I mean, I thought that 2008 was really the year that every homophobe was out there. No. This year, 2012, we're approaching the age of Aquarius. You're seeing a lot of people talking about gay rights, gay issues, homosexuality, and expressing their opinions. And that's fine. I don't care. But they love this, though. And a great way to distract the masses is to say, look what's going on. Look, gays are attacking you. Gays are are now bombing the Family Research Council. Oh, that would have been spectacular. I mean, if they would have gotten a bomber, somebody with a bomb in there, oh, there was a gay terrorist, there was a gay guy who was trying to bomb a pro-family, anti-abortion, and that's abortion. I'm sick of abortion. All right, abortion is just another one of those issues that people have. This it's just a wedge issue. That's all it is. And there are ways to counter abortion. There are ways to deal with it socially, and you don't have to go to these extremes. But people have ulterior motives. People have, especially the controllers of the media, the controllers of Wall Street, the controllers of our government, the corporate controllers, the corporatists, the fascists, the reactionaries, and the communist, socialist, whatever you want to say, on the left side. I just call them totalitarian. I mean, they're all the same. They are controllers. No matter what stripe you think they are. But their fascist reactionaries are the ones that really like to serve this fiat system of control. And I'm pretty surprised. I mean, this coming by surprise, this whole event, that the Family Research Council will be involved in this. I thought it was going to be the other way around. I thought that one of these days, a crazy right-winger, high on drugs, high on meds, not drugs, meds. That's a whole difference, right? Meds are legal, drugs are illegal. Meds, like, I don't know, Prozac, you're going to have SSRIs or high on something like that, totally blown out of his mind. You're going to drag him over to a gay pride parade with an AK-47 and start mowing down all these gays. That I thought was going to happen. Blame it on conservatives, blame it on Second Amendment, and there you go. But now, this is new for me. This is new. This is new because now I notice on Twitter and on Facebook and other places that there are these people now saying, "Oh, now see, we should ban guns in Washington D.C. We should ban guns now." And now you have the anti-gun lobby talking about this event. They don't care if it's a gay guy, straight guy, a right-wing reactionary, a liberal, whatever, a pansy, a macho man doing this. It doesn't matter. They're going to use it for whatever political ideologies. Just like right now, all these right-wing reactionaries are using it to bash gay people. Well, it took me by surprise, this whole event, though. It did. Because the script usually was the other way around. And if it is a false flag and part of it is the Family Research Council, this is what I believe. I think part of it was managed by Tony Perkins, the Family Research Council. And I'll tell you why I think he was behind this. And part of it was, of course, somebody within either the higher-ups of Washington, D.C., the police department, or somebody in government. Can I just say this? Can I say that somebody in government was involved? And I'm not saying the government was involved. I'm saying somebody in government. When you're in government and you have a high position in government, either in the Pentagon, either in Homeland Security, CIA, and then you have all these connections with CFR, with all these think tanks and foundations, things can get pretty ugly. And that's where you can have all these people really doing their worst. Now, here's the thing I want to talk about. We have the media, conservatives specifically, now labeling this as domestic terrorism. I mean, I'm just trying to give you all these points. This is what drove me to think that there's something fishy. Remember, nobody died. There was no explosion, no bombs. It wasn't a traumatic event as it was with the Colorado shootings or the Sikh temple shooting. But it was at the Family Research Council headquarters in the lobby in the middle of Washington, D.C., and you got to think to yourself, why? What's this guy thinking doing all this? Well, it's because he was either high on dope, high on meds or something that pretty much screwed up his mind. And believe me, some of these people who have done these atrocities, actually, I think all of these, the famous ones, the famous assassinations, famous shootings, like the one in Tucson, the one in Colorado, the one in Wisconsin, you're going to have these shooters high on meds, high on Prozac, high on SSRIs. And that's what we are witnessing all the time. And already this case is sort of groundbreaking in a way, but I just would not be surprised if this person was high on something. And then they'll come out, oh, he was in a mental institution, or he was an alcoholic. They're going to do things to say that he is unstable, obviously. But I want to get through with that. I just want to go down to these points that I have in mind, okay? Now, immediately, conservatives have labeled this as domestic terrorism. And I have these points all lined out for you at my blog, therealjosesoto.blogspot.com. You can go ahead and read that, but I'm just going to give you a snippet of some of these points and my take on this. And yeah, that's very true. As soon as this happened, within an hour, the media is labeling this, the conservative media, really, that is the one that started all this. The conservative media, Fox News, Breitbart, and all these other right-wing reactionaries, they're all saying, Drudge and everybody, this is domestic terrorism, this is a hate crime. We don't know what the motive is yet. We don't know if the motive is really clear or not. Because if this guy was high on something, he doesn't even know what the hell he's doing. And obviously he didn't know what he was doing because he was wrestled down by this guard. So immediately conservatives have labeled this as domestic terrorism, and there's no evidence for that to point directly as a fact. It's only an opinion. Remember, they're gonna use this against us no matter what. It's over. So in some sense, I think to myself, Jose, why even deal with this? The right-wing reactionaries are going to use this against us no matter what. No matter if I come out with evidence, no matter if I have documents saying that this guy worked for the Family Research Council and he's playing gay at the DC Gay Center. I mean, even if I prove you that, some people are not going to care and they're going to still continue with this dialogue. Now we know that the shooter was involved and volunteered at the DC Gay Center, and now I've heard that this is being picked up by Metro Weekly, and they got a statement from the DC Gay Center director. The director of the center said that this was kind of spontaneous, is not reflective of his character. Yeah, just like what my PI told me. Yeah, this is really weird. It's strange. And the other part is that I wonder why they haven't gone out far enough to post any blog post or tweets or Facebook posts saying, yeah, fuck Chick-fil-A, fuck Family Research Council, fuck this, fuck that, to make him look like unstable. But they're not working that hard. I don't know. But I still don't feel that this is legit. I still feel that there's something not right in this event. I don't feel totally convinced. I don't feel like this is playing out as well. Now, I want to talk about the Chick-fil-A bag. Actually, let's go to a break first, and then I'm going to talk about that. That's another point that I really have to discuss with you. Whether you believe me or not, I don't care. But I really want to talk to you about the Chick-fil-A bag and how that's not freaking me out. It's intriguing me to a point I'm thinking about it constantly. But let's take a short break, and when we come back, I want to talk about that Chick-fil-A bag. There's more to it than just, oh, it's just a bag. He was trying to make a political statement. Come on now. Think. But we'll be back. Don't go away. This is the Jose Soto Show. You're listening to Intellectual Nudity. We'll be right back. I was a drama major with a minor in LGBT queer studies and history, and my emphasis was basically history and how history repeats itself, and it does all the time. But I also took drama because drama is really the mirror of life. If you want to understand psychology, science, philosophy, if you want to understand all that, study drama. Drama is where you actually get to the bottom of the human experience here on Earth. In this existence that we are living in now. If this was staged, if this was fake, if this was an inside job, like I think it is, I suspect that it is, you're going to need props. And one of those props is to convince you that this is an event in which a gay man went berserk out of his mind because Family Research Council is just there to defend traditional marriage and traditional values and blah blah blah, whatever that's. They don't even do that. Family Research Council is there to do many things. It's there to distract the American people, and is there to push the American people to the extreme to see how far oppressive reactionary policies can go. It's basically a think tank that interacts with the American people and see how far we can push certain things. It has nothing to do with Christianity, nothing to do with being a missionary, nothing to do about biblical values, nothing at all. Let's be clear on that. Family Research Council is trying to make this event look like the gays did it because they're pissed off about the Chick-fil-A thing. And so what do you need? You need props. You have a gun, that's one prop. Then you're going to need a prop that makes this a political statement. And if you have read many of these blog entries and these articles all around the web, you'll see people are now saying that the chicken sandwich is now a political statement. Chick-fil-A is now a political statement. And it is. Unfortunately, it's become a political statement, even though it's full of grease. It's a greasy political statement, but a political statement nonetheless. So what's going to happen is that they're going to need a prop to make this look like it's a political statement. It's a politically motivated hate crime. When a gay person, like the person in Montana who tried to fake his hate crime, or actually, let me take it back. The lesbians, because that's actually a better example. The lesbians who tried to fake their hate crime, they needed props, so they had to vandalize their garage and make political statements. Fag, dyke, blah, blah, blah. And those are political statements. With Chick-fil-A, it's a political statement. So they made sure whoever was behind this false flag had to install that prop within the story in this scene. All right, I'm thinking of it as a theatrical scene, and you have a director, you have a writer. Somebody wrote the script, somebody's directing this, is the orchestrator, and then you have the actors. You have the guard, and then all these extras who don't know what's going on, obviously. And then you have the main antagonist or protagonist in this case, if whichever you look at it, and then he is going to play the role of this berserked, freaked out, hateful, grudging, angry, gay activist, whatever he is, even though he's never been in any, because I verified that with my private investigator. He said he has never been involved in anything else but the center. But he's going to look into that more because there are so many gay organizations. There's so many gay clubs all around the DC area alone that he's like, it's gonna take him a couple of days to just figure it out. But right now we have no criminal record, and we do find out that he volunteered at the DC Gay Center. That's all we know. So you need a political prop, a Chick-fil-A bag, right? You have the actor coming in on stage. He's making a political statement, right? He's reciting his lines from the script, and what it is that I am opposed to this organization. This organization is hateful. It's anti-equality, whatever that may be. I don't care what it was, but he made a statement. It doesn't matter, but as long as he made that statement clear, which he did, to make sure to make it clear to the people that were there, because he did this in front of others. It wasn't just a security guard and he tried to get in. It was in front of people. Because I got somebody who was on Twitter who tweeted me that the whole thing seemed kind of staged to him, and he was one of the witnesses there at the lobby. But he didn't want it to go any further, and I tried to, pick on him, and but he sent me a private message, and he said that to him it seemed it was staged, and he was there. But since he cannot give any details, I'm not going to really divulge too much into that. And then another witness is saying, yeah, he took out the Chick-fil-A bag. I mean, for what reason? I don't know. What's the point of taking out Chick-fil-A bag? If he approached Tony Perkins or somebody up there who was the huncho of the Family Research Council and shoved this Chick-fil-A bag on his face, yeah. But why do you need a Chick-fil-A bag for? That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You don't need this. If you hate the Family Research Council and you want to go to these extremes to mow them down with an automatic assault rifle, just get an automatic assault rifle and mow them down. And then later on make your statement in court or to the press and say, I did it because they're hateful, blah, blah, blah. But this is totally Mickey Mousey. Totally whacked out. I mean, this whole Chick-fil-A bag has to give you a pause. It has to. And it gave me a pause. When I heard about this Chick-fil-A bag, I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. What's this Chick-fil-A bag doing here? And then you have to look back and say, okay, well, Chick-fil-A, it's involved in this whole fiasco with Dan Cathy, the president, saying that guilty as charged. And remember, the original claims that I was making and many others were making, because we were silenced by the big gay media, silenced us because we were trying to make this about the Family Research Council and about their politics and what they stand for. Basically, they want to export gays out of the country and they want to throw gays in jail. Those were the two things that really stuck out. And that's why I didn't want people who are against this to go eat at Chick-fil-A. And if you're for it, go ahead. Stuff your face with that chicken fried shit. I don't give a crap. Do it. But for those of us who don't want gay people to go to jail or to be exported or deported from the country for being gay, then we don't want to be a part of Chick-fil-A. We don't want to support it financially. All right? Get that through your head. But all that's been going on lately, and Chick-fil-A has dropped in popularity in the polls, right? That's what's been going on lately. And Chick-fil-A knows. Now, if Chick-fil-A was behind this, I doubt it, but it's a possibility. You don't know. That could be it. But I'm not 100% there with Chick-fil-A being behind this event. They could be. I'm not sure. That's a possibility. They're there to... They gave this guy the gun. They gave this guy the Chick-fil-A bag and said, go ahead, go over there and shoot somebody. And you say, Jose, how can that happen? It has happened before. I have taken many psychology classes when I was in school, and I had one of the top psychology professors at UCI confirm this to me, that it is possible to brainwash somebody without them even knowing it. He is top psychiatrist and psychology professor at UCI Medical Center, and he told me, Jose, you can brainwash somebody. Yes, you can. And I went into detail over this it was in Colorado, Aurora, Colorado shooting. That's when I started talking about this. But yeah, it is possible. Yes, you can brainwash people. That's why you have all these hypnotists that can hypnotize people with a snap. And it's easy. Some people can do it, some people cannot. Alright? But I do believe that this guy was under a trance. He was under some type of, I don't know, drug, hallucinant. I don't know. I don't know what he was under. All I know is what he did. And what the possible implications, circumstances, and maybe what went down. What was behind all of this. And Chick-fil-A, I mean, they're happy. They're probably beside themselves right now because they're gonna see more profits now coming in. You know, oh, we are the victims. Oh, help us, conservative America. Please come to our restaurants and help us. But I don't know. I don't think Chick-fil-A was behind it. But the Chick-fil-A bag in this whole thing, and when I first heard about it, it was on Fox Nation. That's where I got it, and I started to read other articles. But every other article was the same. That sources say there was a Chick-fil-A bag there. Immediately, that's the first thing that came out. He had a Chick-fil-A bag. Right after we found out that there was a shooting at the Family Research Council headquarters, we found out right after that, oh, the guy had a Chick-fil-A bag. Oh, look at that, he had a Chick-fil-A bag. Like, come on, now this is beyond cartoonish now. And it is cartoonish. People say, oh no, he has a Chick-fil-A bag. Oh, he's probably one of those gays that hates Chick-fil-A, and he wanted it, to make a statement and all that. Oh, come on. Now, if you were Family Research Council, you would definitely want to do this. Yes, you would. You would. It makes logical sense. Now, I mean, put yourselves in their shoes. They're losing all these battles. They might be losing, the front with the ballot initiatives and all that with gay marriage, but that's more like National Organization for Marriage. That's their victory. But they haven't won in many things. They're getting desperate for credibility. And if I was Family Research Council, I would definitely take this up. If I was that cynical, and they are cynical. Most of these organizations, whether they are pro-gay or anti-gay, they're cynical at the top. And they're always looking for ways to get the organization in the news, to get the organization some headlines. And what better way to just go ahead and injure your security guard in the arm, and not kill him, right? Just injure him and call that terrorism. I mean, it's totally false flag right there. But Alex Jones is not buying it, and that's why I think it's total fake. It's not real. Anyways, enough of Alex Jones. But the whole thing with Chick-fil-A, I do believe that it was brought in as a prop, the Chick-fil-A bag, because we're having the Chick-fil-A fiasco. It was dying down, by the way. These last couple of days, these last 2-3 days, Chick-fil-A the whole fiasco was dying down. It was kind of going away from the news. Things were getting back to normal. Everybody was forgetting about Chick-fil-A, and boom, it's back in the news. And it's back in the news. And you know what? And I'm going to say this right now, that Dan Cathy knew what the hell he was doing. He went up to that radio show, and he said what he said because he knew that Mike Huckabee. In fact, I have somebody that told me who works in Fox News, and he's a reliable source, and he told me straight out, Jose, what I think, and I can tell you this with complete assurance, is that Mike Huckabee knew about what Dan Cathy was going to do way before Appreciation Day, way before this whole thing came out. Dan Cathy was going to come out and make this an issue, I'm not surprised. If that is true, I'm not surprised. And you know what? Who benefited was, of course, Chick-fil-A, who benefited from this. Now, what's going on is that's why I don't believe Chick-fil-A was behind this shooting. I don't think they were behind it, but it does help them, right? And if they were behind it somehow, this is a good way to to market your product, all right? Being shot at or something, being involved in a shooting. Yeah, and it's going to help them. But since the Family Research Council is getting money from them, this is another thing you have to understand. Family Research Council is getting money from Dan Cathy. Not only that, Dan Cathy fundraises for them all the time. His associates all support Family Research Council. They get their money from people like Dan Cathy, and he has connections all around the country with all these other right-wing reactionaries and the Southern Baptist Convention. These are people that defraud their own members. If you don't believe me, go ahead and research that. Arizona Southern Baptist Foundation, and you're going to find out many things about the Southern Baptists, let me tell you. All right, now, and they have this connection with Chick-fil-A. It's not just the $2,000. It's deeper than that. Chick-fil-A supports Family Research Council at all levels, and I know about that. It's right there, right in front of you. Dan Cathy is able to fundraise for this organization, and he does constantly all the time. And people say, well, Dan Cathy only donated $2,000. No. Oh, I'm talking about hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars that Chick-fil-A was able to funnel to the Family Research Council throughout the years. But there's more to the story. I want to get back to some of these facts here, some of these circumstances and weird coincidences. But I just wanted to let you know that this is my opinion. Alright, we are going to wait for some more information, what's going on, and hopefully my PI can come up with something new, but I don't think he will. But once the FBI comes out with whatever they're going to do or say with this issue or this incident, then we're going to know maybe what happened. But I still doubt the FBI is not interested if this was an inside job. Especially somebody as powerful, if it's going to be against somebody as powerful as the Family Research Council. They are powerful. They are more powerful than the Human Rights Campaign. Remember the Human Rights Campaign, and was it? Yeah, I think it was, that they got a bomb threat a while ago, and they evacuated all of the gay orgs in Washington, D.C. Yeah, that happened, and I knew that was somebody from HRC calling and saying that, and making a bomb threat. We do this all the time. It's back and forth, and I don't buy it, alright? I'm through with trying to buy this shit. I'm not buying it. I'm not a moron. I'm not a patsy or useful idiot. And not because yes, because of all the lies and all the bullshit that I have been exposed to, now I have to question everything. I have to question every single incident now, especially this one. But this incident, I do question it with true guts. I am 100% assured of my instincts. Alright? And I might be wrong. I don't know. I might be wrong. But I am really sure about my instincts on this. But this is just me. Like I said, it's just me. People have a right to determine their own opinions. I'm not going to stand against that. People can come up with their own opinion. But for me, For me, Family Research Council was somehow behind this. If not, at least they knew about it and they took advantage of it. But hey, I'm just expressing an opinion here. And if you conservatives hate it, well, too bad. Freedom of speech, remember? Freedom of speech! Let's take a small break. We'll be right back after these short messages. Alright, I want to get back to this Fox Nation article on Fox News. You gotta wonder, why do you need a Fox Nation site? It just goes to show you that the mainstream media is not interested in providing you the news. It's all motivated by ideology, motivated by some sort of scripted framework. And you don't get the real news or real opinion. I mean, my opinion is not based on ideology. I mean, if you look at all of my shows, I bashed other gays as well for being stupid. Like Dan Savage, that's one stupid fuck I really don't like. I mean, he's totally, I mean, not only is he annoying, but he's a little weenie. I mean, he's totally a little weenie. So we don't need that guy in our community. If there was a way to expel or excommunicate members from our community, I want to start with that guy. But anyway, that's just my opinion. And you know, a lot of gay people really hate it when I say that, but hey, it's my opinion. I have a right to it, and I'm just saying what I feel, and it's based on experience. It's based on the things that he does. It's not like, ooh, I just hate it because I woke up one day and I woke up in a bad mood or something. No, it's based on the things that he has said and many facts as well. Now, getting back to this event, to this shooting, I want to talk about the Fox Nation or Fox News article. There was a Fox News article that stated that a gunman, and I'm not surprised that they didn't just say gay guy or gay gunman or a liberal or a something like, and one of those labels there, and say that, but they end up saying that gunman opens fire at conservatives. And we all know that was not true. Here we go again with the twisting, with the lying, with the bullshit. Saying that conservatives, oh my god, conservatives were being shot at. Barely. We had one armed guard being shot at. He got shot on his arm. And we're calling that terrorism. Domestic terrorism in America today. We don't know if the armed guard is actually a conservative or a liberal, or we don't know nothing about that. But yet, Fox Nation, well, just because you work at Family Research Council doesn't mean that you support what they do. I mean, you're just there for the paycheck. You're a security guard. That's what your job is. Because I've been to many of these gay prides where we have security guards there, and I met one of them. I talked to some of them, and one of them said, yeah, look, I'm a conservative, I don't believe in the gay stuff. I'm just here for the paycheck. And he was there taking pictures with gay guys and all that. There are people like that. I mean, security guards, you have to have that kind of attitude where you just don't give a shit. All you're there to do is to be muscle. That's all. Who cares what you think? Who cares about your brain? Who cares about whatever? I mean, I know it sounds kind of cynical, but that's what it is. This reality of being a security guard is that you're just a muscle. So they don't really care what you think as long as you're there to protect them, and that's basically what that's basically true in every aspect of life regarding security. Now, Fox Nation is where we got this whole thing. And they said they were the first one to break this, that Chick-fil-A bag was involved. The guy was carrying a Chick-fil-A bag, and oh my god, this is an attack against conservatives. So what do you think they're trying to do here? They're trying to play out a plot, a storyline. This is the first red flag that this is a staged event, and somehow, I don't know if Roger Ailes might know about this. Roger Ailes, head of Fox News, heavily involved in the Trilateral Commission, right? Heavily involved in these esoteric groups, heavily involved in the Family Research Council, heavily involved and all these conservative groups. Not because he supports them. It's not that he supports them. It's that he tells them what to do. He creates the news. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. And he does that. I mean, if you read some of his bio, you'll see what he is about. He is somebody that creates news. He doesn't report the news. So here you are creating the news story, which is this gay guy went berserk and he's going to go and kill conservatives. That is the storyline that they are writing, that they're creating, so they can terrorize conservatives. If you're a conservative, you have nothing to fear. I'm a gay guy myself. I'm not liberal. I am what I don't know what to call myself, but I am an independent. I'm an independent gay guy, and I have a lot of guns, but I'm not going to shoot you just because you're conservative. The hell is that? I'm a nice guy. I get along with everybody. Except when you piss me off, call me names and all this shit. Just be nice, and I'll be nice. What's wrong with that? Yes, I have theories. I have my... Yeah, it's called thinking. Independent thinking. It's called I have my own way of thinking. I'm not just here to eat up all this puke that the media serves us. I'm somebody who's independent. Yes, I'll look at the evidence and I'll come up with my own determination, but I'm not here, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not here to tell anybody how to think. This is what I think. If you want to believe me, fine. If you don't, fine. Believe in what you want to believe, but the most important thing here is believe in what you want to believe as long as you know why you believe on it. And I'm telling you why I believe that this whole thing was staged. Okay? Now, let's not forget one thing, and I'm trying to make this a fact as well. Yesterday, or was it the day before? No, it was the day before. No, it was yesterday. A ruling came down from a Vermont federal court that a Mennonite minister, a conservative Mennonite, I didn't know that there is a difference, right? But there is, because I was raised in a home where we lived next to a Mennonite, and he said that, there were many different Mennonite sects and all that, so I thought they were all the same, but they're not. But this little Mennonite thought that, hey, I can help kidnap this little girl because the lesbian mother, who has now full parental custody by court ruling, I'm going to help her kidnap that little kid. So, let me tell you what happened there, really brief. You had a lesbian couple. One of them turned out to be an ex-gay later on. They had a child already. The ex-partner turned out to be a operative for the Liberty University business. It's a business, not a church. So she went down to Virginia with the daughter. What happened was that the ex-gay or the ex-lesbian had the daughter. It's her daughter, but the court, because they had it in a civil union, which is like a marriage in Vermont, both parents have legal obligations and visitation rights to that daughter. But what happened was that she didn't want the lesbian mom to continue to see the kid, so what happened was she started to disobey the visitation orders, and the Vermont court ruled that because you are not abiding by the court, you're going to lose custody of the child. And she lost custody, and then she was then basically transported into this underground railroad that Ryan Fisher is advocating for. And they basically kidnapped the kid. And the kid ended up in Nicaragua. Good luck trying to find the kid. So you have this Mennonite minister who was involved in this. He was the one that helped them leave the country. So he was found guilty yesterday of aiding and abetting international child kidnapping. And that's really serious. He can face up to 3 years in the federal penitentiary. What does that tell you? Yeah, somebody didn't want this to be the news today. But it's in the news, but it's being overshadowed and overtaken by this shooting that happened in Washington, D.C., unfortunately. And of course, conservatives don't want to talk about that. No, they want to talk about this whole shooting at the Family Research Council. That's one point I wanted to make. It's a coincidence, maybe, I don't know. But if somebody was planning this for a while, because I think they were planning this for a while. This was in the works for at least a couple months. And they were saying, okay, let's use this Chick-fil-A prop and let's do it right now, because this court ruling can definitely tarnish the conservative movement, and we want now to make this a conservative versus liberal instead of a liberal versus conservative. We want the conservatives now to look like victims. And the reason why they did that, I'm not sure. Let me think about it. Let me go back to do my homework. But that's weird. I never thought that. I mean, conservatives have been trying for the last couple of years to be the victims now. I mean, you have Nam coming out with this whole victim thing, like the victims of being discriminated against for being against gay marriage. All this shit. It's bullshit, basically. But conservatives are now trying to be the victims. And if that is the case, then it's very useful to go ahead and get conservatives riled up. Like you can get gays all riled up when something like this magnitude happens against us. We get all riled up. But then conservatives are now all riled up over this Chick-fil-A thing, so they just took it, they took it to the next step. They took it to this level now. I mean, that's what I think is going on. I mean, they took this opportunity, and now they had this federal court ruling in Vermont, and they had to do it today. They had to. I think it was very sloppy, by the way. The way it turned out, it was really, I think they wanted this guy to go in and actually shoot somebody and kill somebody up there. But he only ended up at the lobby. That's all he ended up going as far. So I personally think that they wanted this guy to create havoc, and he really did kill somebody. But he didn't do that. He only ended up injuring the security guard, and that was it. And of course, the media hype. Right away, there's all this media hype about the Family Research Council and the shooting. And of course, they're going to use this against us. And they're going to use it for political gain. This is the start of... we're just starting the presidential campaign. And they're going to use this against not just gay people. I'm talking to you liberals. They're going to use it against you. And you know what? Something just popped into my head right now. But I'm going to tell you what it is after the short break. But something just popped into my head that probably can fit with this incident of what I think this was all staged. I have another fact that is not on my blog, but I'm going to tell you right now. It just popped into my head of why I think somebody in the higher-ups really want this to play out the way it did, and wanted to stage this for a peculiar reason. And it has to do with the election. But I'll be right back with that point. We'll be right back. We are in a election year.
And I just got this right now. It just came into my head before the break that the controllers of this country, the Bilderbergers, Wall Street, they have decided to dump Obama and they want Mittens in office. So they got Paul Ryan, a fascist reactionary, to be the sidekick. So they got all the right-wing conservative base all hyped up now. This is the start of the election season. This is the start of the presidential election. It just popped into my head. The controllers want to dump Obama. Obama's not useful to them anymore. Does that mean that Obama is no longer dangerous? No, he's still dangerous in my opinion. He's still very, very much dangerous. But Mittens will be as dangerous, if not even worse, because now the right-wing reactionaries are all going to be asleep once Mittens gets elected. And who do we have? Who do we have to challenge Mittens Romney and his right-wing reactionary fascist sidekick, sideshow male Mussolini Jr., Paul Ryan? Who are we going to have to challenge them? Code Pink? Really? It's going to be hell. Let me tell you, it's going to be hell. You think we're in a bad situation right now with this recession? Just wait till we get the second one. It's going to be hell. And right now, the controllers want Mittens. They want Romney and they want Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan's going to do what they want. They want lower. It's not just the taxes. It has everything to do with Wall Street. They want less regulation so they can start to finish off the looting that they're doing right now. Because right now under Obama, there's a lot of looting going on. But not as extreme as if Paul Ryan and Mittens Romney get into power. They're going to let Wall Street criminals and white shoe boys and all their friends steal everything that they can get. They're going to strip all the assets of all these other small companies. They're going to do more of this insider trading stuff. They're going to do everything that they can. That's why they want Mittens in office. Because with Obama, they're having a little bit of a challenge. But Obama is still playing with Wall Street. Wall Street saying, you know what? You weren't as good as we thought. We don't want you anymore. And with this particular event that happened today in Washington, D.C., this shooting at the Family Research Council, I think if you look at it this way, it was staged to wild up the conservative base. That's what it is about. That's why the conservative media, Fox News, they cannot let this down. They can't drop this. I mean, it's already been close to 12 hours now that this event happened. And it's still in the headlines. It's still trending on Twitter. It's still out there. Why? Because they're trying to make this an issue. Let's say that it wasn't an inside job. This was a legitimate, crazy nut job that went up there and tried to get into the Family Research Council headquarters with a gun. All right, let's buy the conspiracy theory. But here's the thing. They're going to use this to their advantage. Like I said, they're going to demonize gays, but not only that, Mittens is going to be used to get the right-wing base wild up. The gays are attacking. They're going to kill your babies. They're going to eat your little grandchildren. They're going to homosexualize everything. And we must stop them. Now they're using guns. Now they're attacking our headquarters. That's why I think it is staged, because this is all to make Mittens and Paul Ryan look good and desirable. Remember, evangelicals don't like Mittens. They don't like that guy a bit because he's a Mormon. And I don't blame him. Mormonism is about worshiping power. It has all these Freemasonry ideology, theology stuff. It's not real Christianity. And I haven't seen a religion with real Christianity. I've never seen one, to be honest with you. But evangelicals who pretend to be Christian, they are very pissed off, and they should be, about this Mittens selection. But here's the catch now, all right? Now they're going to be elated. Now they're like all wound up. And tomorrow morning, you're going to have Rush Limbaugh. You're going to have Michael Savage. You're going to have Alex Jones, who's now part of that clique. He's now supporting the Republican nominee, Mitt Romney. Yes, he does. He is supporting him. He's not supporting him vocally, but he is helping him win. He is. And that's why I don't buy into Alex Jones anymore. No more. Okay, he's part of the same establishment. He's part of them. Pretending to be alternative media, but is not alternative at all. But since this is an election year, okay, you bet your ass this is going to be in the minds of people. This event alone is going to be in the minds of people. And it's now going to set off a firestorm in which all these evangelicals who weren't supporting Mitt Romney are now going to get up and support him. They're going to fundraise. Money's going to be pouring in to the campaign. And that's what's going to happen. Tomorrow, then the next day after that, and next week, you bet your ass it's going to happen. At least believe me on that point. If you don't believe me on this whole fake false flag thing about the shooting, fine. But at least believe me on that. And you right-wing reactionaries who are listening to this, you know what's going to happen. You know that you're going to use this. So stop kidding yourselves and stop kidding me around. Admit it. You're going to use this for your own political gain. It's not about safety. It's not about preventing terrorism. It's not about all this shit. Alright? It's all about you gaining political power. That's what it is. And I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of it. Now, before we end the show, I really want to get another important point out there for you. And I want you to consider this really seriously. If you think that getting a supposed gay guy, who I don't think is gay, but he might be, I don't know, I don't really care. But he was volunteering at the DC Gay and Lesbian Center. Is he for real? Is he fake? Is he passing off? I don't know. We're going to have to see about that. I don't care. That's not really important. But can this guy be manipulated to do something that is out of his character? To go out and shoot somebody in the arm at a heavily guarded, heavily surveyed area in the middle of Washington, D.C.? Can you convince somebody? Yes, you can. It's been proven before. You have a person hyped up on drugs, hyped up on SSRIs or some antidepressants or some psychotics, and you're going to have this guy running around in a muck. If you don't believe that is possible, just go and research SSRIs side effects. Lexapro, let's talk about Prozac. That's not an SSRI, that's full of fluoride, basically. Check out those antidepressants and research that. Punch in antidepressants, murderous side effects, and you'll see what I mean. Okay? If you have somebody hyped up on antidepressants or any of these psychotic medications, that person is a dangerous walking time bomb. That's what he is or she is. And this is no different. Okay? So you're going to have somebody like that. You're going to persuade them. You're going to do some mind tricks. I don't know what happened. I don't really care. But something did happen to make this guy do what he did. He was either coerced to do it, bribed. That also could happen. He was either bribed, he was either coerced, brainwashed, manipulated to do what he did. Just like what happened to Sirhan when he assassinated RFK. And he says, he doesn't even remember. And just like this other guy that shot the people in Tucson, he says he doesn't even remember, and it comes out that he was high on drugs, he was high on medication. I mean, look, it's there. It's there for you to see. This is what happens when drugs, when medications mixed with anger, depression, and guns. This is what happens when you mix them up. Okay? This is what happens. But here's the other point. You're going to need somebody in the inside who knows how to direct this scene. You're going to need a director. Let's pretend again this is drama. This is a theatrical scene that we are witnessing. You're going to need a writer, probably somebody in the higher-ups of the FRC or somebody in, let's just say, a controller, somebody who wants mittens to win the presidency. You're going to have to wild up the base. And since this whole Chick-fil-A is wilding up the base, why not take advantage of it? And put in a Chick-fil-A bag as a prop. That's also another good possibility. That actually makes a lot of sense, actually, if you look at it. That makes more sense to me. I don't think Chick-fil-A was behind this, but that makes a lot of sense. To wild up the evangelical conservative base, put in there the Chick-fil-A bag as a prop. And that's what they did. So then you have this, but you're going to need a director to direct all this. You need somebody who knows what they're doing. Who is it? Tony Perkins. Who else? Why do I believe this? And if you go to my blog, I explain, but it's really simple. And it's the last point I made on my blog. And there are many other points I make there. You can go and check it out yourself. But Tony Perkins, who was calling this domestic terrorism, that came, somebody told me on Facebook that the directive to call this a domestic terrorist came in a message to Fox News from the Family Research Council. And this person had told me about this. He's the same source at Fox News, and he told me via Facebook, this is what is going on. You know, we got this news link from the Family Research Council. They're the ones that told us to write this. Domestic terrorism came from the office of Tony Perkins. He's the one that started this whole, this is domestic terrorism. He's the one that pointed the finger and waved the finger at us. Why? How can he do this? Because he is an expert. Look at his biography. Where did he used to work before going into the Family Research Council? He was a cop, and then he graduated from a cop, and now he worked for the federal government, for Homeland Security, for the CIA. He worked for them as a counter-terrorist specialist in tactics. Look it up. Do your homework. I mean, people don't do their homework. Do your homework. Tony Perkins was involved in counter-terrorism programs. He studied terrorism all the time. He's actually more specialized in terrorism. If you look at his resume, he's more specialized in intelligence gathering and terrorism than he is in any of this gay shit. That is a real fact right there. I want you to digest that, think about it. If you still don't believe me, fine, move on with your life. I don't care. But I made my points. I hope I made them pretty clear. If not, I apologize. But that's what I think, that this whole thing was faked and staged. And just look at it. Look at it from the point of view of the Family Research Council. If you were them, what would you do to make yourselves look like the victim? And not only that, but get Romney elected. You see, I'm going to write a blog post probably tonight. I'm not sure, because I'm getting really, mentally, I'm getting tired about all this stuff. But if I have the strength to continue, I will write a blog post. I think this has more to do about the election than it has to do about Family Research Council themselves. Yeah, they're getting some real good publicity here. They're the victims. Oh, they got attacked by some left-wing, gay, liberal, abortionist, blah, blah, blah. Right? That's going to be the story. And the Family Research Council is going to get all the good publicity. They're the angels. They're the little precious ones that survived this. Oh, Lord. But here's what's going to happen. The right-wing evangelicals are all going to get wild up. They're going to get hyped up. They're going to be all over the place. They're going to fundraise for mittens. This has to do with the election. I guarantee you that. That is my hunch. That's why I like to do these shows, because I can talk about my ideas through, and I can perfect them on the show. My ideas are not that perfect, but they're better than other shit that you hear. I'm just gonna say that, because this is independent thinking. I'm open to a lot of options, but I just don't buy this shit. I don't buy lies. Right off the bat, people saying, oh my God, poor Family Research Council. Oh no, they could. Now, hold up a second. Let's look at this point by point, evidence by evidence, minute by minute. Let's look at what happened. And to me, it just looks fake. It looks like Mickey Mouse did this. It doesn't really ring any truth to it at all. That's me. That's my opinion. But I know some of you right-wing reactionaries are gonna have a fart about this. You're gonna dither. Oh no, Jose Soto. He's saying that this was an inside job. Yes, I'm saying that. It's called freedom of expression, moron. Oh no, is Family Research Council and Chick-fil-A, are they the only ones that can fully express themselves? Yeah. See, these people are hypocrites. These people are hypocrites. They don't know what they want. As long as they're able to bash their enemies, their supposed enemies, they can get whatever, they'll do whatever they want. And they'll say whatever they want. But to get to the truth, they're not going to want to do that. To open their minds and say, you know what, this might be fake. To open up their minds and to at least entertain that possibility. I mean, look, you're talking about Family Research Council, who has been into a lot of controversy lately, who is hated by a lot of people. You obviously think that something's going to happen, right? It can go both ways. It can either be that this was a genuine attack, or that they fabricated it. Not fabricated, but they staged it. It looks real. Yeah, it happened, right? Somebody got shot. But it was staged. It was staged. And that's my opinion. And people are gonna, I know they're gonna have a hard time with this. Fine. Have a hard time. I don't know why people have a hard time. I mean, when I talked about other things like, oh, that was fake, like this whole Montana incident that happened in Montana, when I said, oh, that was kind of fake, nobody said anything. Nobody was, oh, whatever. But here, oh, Lord, it's like, what's the big deal? I'm just stating what I'm saying, and I'm stating some facts for you of why I drew up my conclusion. All you have to do is state your facts and say, this is why I think it's not a stage event. And yeah, you can point to whatever you want to point at. But I'm pointing at several serious facts here. Tony Perkins, the head of the Family Research Council, he used to work for the CIA and worked for the Homeland Security Department. Of course, he was involved in counterterrorism. He was a cop. He knows how these things work. He knows how to get to the terrorist mind. I mean, it's laid out for you right there. It's right there. Look at it. You have Tony Perkins, who knows more about terrorism than any of this homosexuality stuff or family values or any of this marriage stuff. He knows more about terrorism. If you look at his resume, he knows more about that than he knows more about terrorism. And he's the head of this organization who gets attacked by this guy who shoots their security guard, and he works there. He's the head of it. And he calls Fox News and tells them, hey, we're being attacked by domestic terrorists. And there's a Chick-fil-A back there in the middle of all this. I mean, it just looks staged. Come on, people. Wake the hell up. And gay people shouldn't be buying into this. You know what? Fuck this. We don't care about this. Fuck you. Why? Because we're not going to spend our time trying to debunk this whole thing. Let conservatives deal with their issues. We have a lot of things to look forward to. We have all these elections, and remember, we have to be very careful now. We have to be very careful. If you work at a gay center, if you work at anything gay, and there's somebody there suspicious who pretends to be gay or you think is not, who has kind of like a shady life, is very secretive, very shy, be careful with those guys. Those can be infiltrators, and I had those before. When I was working for a gay rights organization, we got infiltrated by the opposite end, by the opposers. Yeah, they infiltrated us, and we knew about it, and we had to call it upon them and to basically come out of the closet and say that they were not gay, and they were not gay. And we weren't discriminating against straight people. It's just that if you're there to spy on us, if you're there to do certain things that will make us look bad, then we're not gonna have you, you know. But I remember when I used to work for a gay rights organization that we had a couple of infiltrators, a couple of patsies that were trying, moles, that were trying to make us look bad. You know, they will go throw concrete at security guards and vandalize cars and all this. And sometimes I think that happens many times all over the place. So it's not just in this incident that we see this. It happens everywhere, every time. So just be on the lookout for that. I mean, don't be an idiot. Don't be a useful moron. Wake up, smell the coffee. This is what it is. Alright? Nothing to it. But this whole thing, wow. They have it down. The controllers who want Mittens elected, they were behind this. And they used the Family Research Council. They used Tony Perkins, who has more expertise on terrorism, who worked with the CIA. He worked for Homeland Security on terrorism. Hello? And now his organization that he's the president of got attacked by a domestic terrorist. Hello? And there's a Chick-fil-A bag in the mix. Hello? Good night. We'll see you next time.